Well, thank you so much, Chair, and thank you to all of our witnesses for being here. And to those of you who served our country, I appreciate deeply the service that you have provided then and today. I think the first question, and I'm going to start with Atlas first, and please, you decide who should answer the question, but I will be asking everyone. So if you could listen to the question and decide who's best to answer, I would really appreciate it. What we've heard repeatedly in this study from women veterans is that they feel invisible and that data isn't collected, so they don't know the trends of what's happening. They find that a lot of their healthcare challenges are not recognized, their employment challenges are not recognized. There doesn't seem to be a clear pattern. And we also know that it's a low number that we're looking at. So I'm just really curious, how do we address the issue specifically around research when we have such a small data set? And how do we make sure that in that reality, we don't make invisible the real issues that women veterans are facing?
Thank you very much for the question. It's also something that we've heard about anecdotally in conversations we've had with women veterans, with partners and other organizations, this notion of invisibility, and also something that this committee has heard about in terms of not feeling like a veteran or not identifying as a veteran or reluctance to do so. In terms of the data that is collected, perhaps it's important to clarify that data is collected. Where we see challenges is with the quality of some of the data that is available. The committee has heard about small sample sizes. This is also something that we are aware of, and in many cases, the small sample sizes or low cell counts makes it quite difficult to provide findings that are reliable, meaningful, interpretable, and that can help us draw conclusions to provide reasonable recommendations or salient conclusions on a particular issue. Perhaps there is an important question to be asked, not about what data we collect, but what questions we ask. Many of the studies that are currently where data is currently available to us, such as the Life After Service Survey, are designed for performance measurement, for surveillance, and they are population-based studies that, and as you've heard in prior witness statements, give us the ability to compare across the population or compare female veterans to male veterans. But perhaps what is needed is questions about women veterans in their own right, questions that take gender as a category of analysis, and that looks at the sex and gender specific needs of women veterans, that exclusively focuses on their experiences and questions that are relevant to them. I hope that's helpful.
Thank you. Dr. McLean?
Yes, thank you for the question. I agree with Dr. Rodriguez. As well. I think that there's, when you're doing population health research, you're getting a random sample of veterans, right? And then so you're going to get 13% females. And so for a lot of the indicators of well-being, and we use at Veterans Affairs, there's 21 indicators that are used. They're not gendered indicators. But across the seven domains of well-being, all of those should be disaggregated by sex. That's the ideal way to analyze the data. But as she mentioned, there are small sample sizes, so the confidence intervals are wide. So it's hard to tell if there's in fact a difference between women and men. But as Sid or Dr. Kershaw had mentioned, there's some hope there in terms of getting larger sample sizes of veterans with the 2021 census data. There has been release of some of that data already, but not there hasn't been enough releases yet to specifically look at women. But yes, data does need to be disaggregated. Yeah.
And Dr. Cushing.
Thank you. Well, I want to preface by saying I'm not a researcher, And we rely heavily on our research colleagues to provide information. And I find that they provide a lot of excellent information, especially we learn so much about the experience of veterans around transition. But there are some gaps. And the question is excellent about the women feeling invisible. And that's why another step we're taking is to do this community health needs assessment, which is going to go and look for those underrepresented and the women specifically to ask them about what needs are not being met and all that. And I think all of the information we use to build a picture, sort of like a puzzle. Everybody has a part of the information, but we want to put it all together to paint a clear picture, and especially for the underrepresented veterans and women. Thank you.
Thank you.